Philadelphia, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Have you been before?
Thanks. I have actually, yeah.
Did you do anything fun, like touristy?
Actually, funnily enough, a few years ago, there's a really wonderful hospital and school for the visually impaired.
Yeah.
In Philadelphia. So I came here with a bunch of Funkos. The company that make Funko a couple of years ago, they sent me like 300 Funkos.
Amazing.
And I took them to the hospital and school for the blind here, and we signed a bunch.
Oh, that's lovely.
Really cool.
Did you go in costume or as you?
I did not go in costume. Mainly because they don't let that costume out of their sight.
I get it. And have you been to Philly before?
I've been to Philly, yeah, a few times
Amazing.
in my life, yeah. I mean, I'm a New Yorker, so...
It's close. It's close enough. It's close enough. Well, I'll get started with a few questions, but if folks have questions, you can use either microphone. Look at that. Bang, bang, boom. It's like they just pop up out of nowhere. But one thing I'll say, Charlie, I saw you in Betrayal, and it was amazing. What was the experience of getting to work with Loki, essentially, getting to do a little crossover episode almost?
Yeah, and so some of you guys will probably know, while we were doing the show, it was Halloween. And so on Halloween we switched costumes, and he dressed up as Daredevil and I dressed up as Loki. It was pretty fun.
I loved it.
Yeah, and then and Zawe, I think she dressed up as Captain America or something. But then after we finished the play, she is now in the MCU.
It's amazing. You made it happen.
Yeah,
you made it happen.
We manifested that.
That's wonderful. I needed to mention that just because I'm a huge fan of yours, and Tom Hiddleston. So there's that.
Who's Tom Hiddleston?
He's new. He's new to this universe. But what I will ask is, stepping back into these characters, I don't want spoilers. I just want being able to be this character again. What was your process like for that? Either of you. They're so polite to each other. It's very different on-screen dynamic.
I'm going to take your lead. Go ahead.
It's pretty nerve-wracking, actually. Obviously, it's such an honor. It's hard to fathom that this is happening, and there was such a long break in between, during which we had no idea. And I was convinced that we were done. That was never going to happen again, and that it was a lovely journey while it lasted, but it was over. And then I got the call, I guess we both got the call sometime in 2020, mid-2020, during COVID. And we started shooting, at least the Daredevil show, we started shooting this year. So it's been a lot of time, waiting, getting excited and wondering what it's going to be like, and how is it going to be the same, how is it going to be different. And I'm, almost 10 years older than I was when we started doing it. Vincent's 20 years older, weirdly. I don't know how that happened. So yeah, it's super exciting. It's nerve-wracking, but so far so good, man. It's exciting. I think it's gonna be cool.
He led the way for you.
So first thing is that anytime I get a chance to play Wilson Fisk, I just love the character so much, and that it's a thrill, So there's that, and then, back when we first started the old show, it was like we were, Charlie and I both, and the other cast members, we really had to bring these characters in the best way we possibly could, and we felt this amazing want from the fans for us to get it right, and for me that doesn't make me nervous, or that just makes me inspired that you guys want us to get us right. It just makes me want to just do awesome and knock it out of the park, So your support is huge. I know Charlie feels exactly the same way, and so as we approach, as we're shooting now, we feel the same exact way as as we did back then. Charlie and I talk about it all the time, that we really know that we need to do the right thing for you guys. Like, we really know it. And every day it's on our mind. And you might not believe this, but Charlie and I, mostly every time we meet, we mention you guys in conversations of all kinds. And that's the honest to God truth. You know, we really badly want to knock it out of the park again for you guys. And all I can say more than that is everything that's going on is making us very happy right now.
That's awesome. That's exciting.
So there's no nerves. It's just this kind of feeling of being inspired by the fans and getting it right.
Absolutely. We appreciate it immensely, and we're excited to see it. So thank you. Shall we get to some fan questions? Amazing.
Great.
I'm right-handed, so I'm going to start on the left side. Hi, welcome. Please let us know your name and ask your question.
Hi, my name's Olivia. I'm wondering if either you had a favorite fight scene to film?
Yeah, that's an easy question for me. The prison fight scene in season 3. You know, there's so many amazing sequences in our show, and huge shout out to mainly Chris Brewster, who is my stunt double and was so influential in all of those fights, but also the numerous stunt coordinators that we had. The reason that one is pretty special to my heart is because by that point I was able to do a lot of it. So, you know, 70-80% of that fight is actually me. Whereas when we first started, I just wasn't, I didn't have the ability to do it. And so it took me a couple of years of slowly getting better and better. And doing a one take is really challenging because any mistake ruins the whole thing. And you have to start again. And that was, I think we had like 3 days to shoot that, 1 day of rehearsal and 2 days to shoot it, and I remain incredibly impressed and proud of that.
Yeah, that's my favorite scene. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite fight scene?
I just kind of throw people around.
That's great. Yeah. That's fine. That's fine.
The
You're like a
coolest-
WWE person.
Yeah. I think the coolest one that I've been involved with, is there's this one scene that involves a man's head in a car door.
Fantastic. Thank you.
We call that a fight scene.
I think that's, over here, this side.
Good afternoon. My name is Joey, and I first just wanted to thank you both because this show and these characters is what inspired me to be able to make a difference in my own community and be the first in my family to attend law school, and a year from now graduate from law school. So, thank you. My question to you both is, in that time between when the Netflix series was canceled and you were all brought back into the MCU, what were some of the thoughts and feelings you all were feeling, and what did that fan outpour of support mean to you all? Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want me to pick? I'll just be like, you go first this time. You go first this time.
Well, as I just said, the fan support means everything to us, and you're right. During that period, it was a big deal that, it was the first time for me that I was involved in a project where the voices of the fans were heard. That was pretty extraordinary, and I think that has a lot to do with Save Daredevil. And
Three of the original members are here today. Where are you guys? There they are.
Hey! Well, thank you.
I learned today they have a podcast, so you should check that out.
Nice.
so, because of those three and others like them, it was very obvious to us that there were people out there that wanted either this show to continue or to continue sometime, and that was, it wasn't like a dark period for me. I felt like okay about it because I always thought it was going to come back. And I supported Save Daredevil just so that I could voice my opinion about things like that in the context of trying to save it. But in my heart and in my business mind, you know, when you're knocking it out of the park, you don't get rid of it. You know what I mean? And so you bring it back and make more great stuff and make more money for the studios. And I thought that was a no-brainer. They would want that again, and we would get it again. And
Here you are. Here you are.
we did.
Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, I thought he was delusional. Truly. Like he'd get on the phone and he'd be like, they're gonna call us up, we're gonna do it. And I'd be like, in my mind I was like, you gotta let it go. It's been 2 years, buddy. It's over.
True, by the way, he's not joking.
That's persistence. Thank you for it. We'll go to this side. Hi.
Yeah, I was talking to my friends about Full Metal Jacket. I hadn't finished watching the boot camp part yet. I told him what I would have done, and then he actually does it in the end of the boot camp part.
Thank you for that statement. Thank you. We'll go to this side.
What's going on, guys? I'm Alex. Thank you for being here, first of all. And this question is more so for Vincent. I was wondering, you've played a lot of disturbed characters over the years. So when you have to get to that dark place, what do you have to do to get into that mindset? And does it ever get exhausting to play characters that are that intense?
I was in such a good mood. I really was. No, it gets dark. You know, I'm not the kind of actor. When I was a kid, when I was really young, I was the kind of actor like that took it home and stuff like that. But that didn't last very long. You know, you start relationships in your life become more serious. You know, and then you know I started to have children, and you know. If I took one of my characters home, my kids would just laugh my way out of the house. You know, like they would say, "What? You know what? You know." So I don't want to sound that heavy about it, but there is a lot of, for lack of a better word, dark work that you have to do. But that comes in research and stuff. If I'm playing some kind of guy who commits horrible crimes, then I have to research that. I have to talk to people who've been involved in stuff like that, and that you know can give you nightmares and stuff like that. You know, so yeah, there's that.
But I think that's part of the fun of being a performer is that research part. Like I know that when I've been able to get to do a character, to like dive into that and find out what every single word of the script sort of like means if I don't know a location and stuff, that research part is sort of, I think, half the joy of getting to play somebody else, right?
And I have tons of stories about the ways that law enforcement people or federal agents or stuff like that, they taught me, they gave me lessons on how, you know, I couldn't actually get into the mindset of a killer. Nobody can, but they gave me ideas on how to, what to read to then create it in another way rather than trying, you know, be it, you know. So there was dark stuff, and the dark stuff gives you nightmares, but I would say that's the extent of the dark stuff in it. And you know, there's tons of people out there that are, we have so much access now than when I was a kid with the internet and all that it's amazing how much knowledge you can attain for a part.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go back over this side.
Speaking of season 3, my question is, where's Bernthal?
Where's Bernthal tonight?
John Bernthal.
Yeah, you mean where is he right now?
Yeah, he was supposed to be
We're
here.
not allowed to tell where he is.
Was that really your question, or do you have an actual question?
So I don't know if you know this, but if you know John Bernthal, you have to sign a contract that you're not allowed to reveal where he is at any time.
Is that the Marine thing?
Thank you so much. We'll go over this side.
My name is Stephanie. I just want to thank you guys because when my husband and I were dating long distance, Daredevil was our show that we used to watch dating long distance. And then my question for you guys, is it gonna be the same intensity with the new show that it used to be at Netflix? Because we like to see blood, for real, and fight.
I know you know we can't answer that question.
Right. Did you not hear what I said at the top of this?
I did, I took my chance.
Come on. I mean, you have to. Let's assume there's the color red in it, at least in your suit, so that's fine. We'll go to this side.
Thank you, though, and congratulations.
Yeah, that's a lovely, I love that. Hello.
Hi, I'm Megan. I wanted to say thank you guys for being here. And Charlie, my friend Sita, has seen Stardust about 24 times. Favorite movie. But had to give her a shout out. But this question is for Charlie. I read in an interview that you used to live in a house with Robert Pattinson, Andrew Garfield, Eddie Redmayne, and Jamie Dornan. Do you have any funny stories about your time living with them that you might not have told before to a public?
Okay, so as much as I love that story, it's not actually strictly true.
Okay.
I was in Los Angeles, but I wasn't living with those guys. And my memory of it is that Eddie and Jamie, and I think maybe Rob were living together, and I was living by myself, and Andrew was living by himself. But we were all really good friends, and we hung out all the time.
Okay.
I do have a photograph of myself, Andrew, Eddie, and Jamie on the beach, unemployed, playing volleyball because we had no auditions and nothing to do, and complaining about how empty our lives were. And that I'm very proud of that photo. It's very cool to think that we've all been so lucky. But it was a cool time. It was it's Los Angeles for an out of work actor is not a fun place. But we've made the most of it by playing volleyball, I guess.
Is that picture anywhere?
Yeah, it's on my computer.
That's it.
Can it be on the Instagram?
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for your question.
Thank you. Hello.
Hi. My name is John. Thank you for coming. I've been watching the Netflix shows. It started when I was 15 all the way to when Jessica Jones finished with season 3. I watched them all. I love them all, even Iron Fist. I was wondering, I was going to ask about John, but I was wondering, so in the Born Again comic, Bullseye kills Karen instead of Father Lantom, but in the show it's Lantom. So I was wondering, you aren't the writers, I don't know if you know about this, but I was just curious if you knew about the choice behind choosing to have him kill Lantom instead of Karen.
There's also, in that, I don't know if it's the same episode, but there's also the reverse of the iconic image. In the comics, it's Daredevil is holding Karen Page beneath the cross. And in our show, we reversed it. We had Karen Page
holding him.
Holding Daredevil.
It's the same episode.
So anything like that, the reason for it is if you do exactly what's written in the comics, it's not exciting for the fans because they know what's going to happen. So what they tend to do, which I think is really smart, is you hit certain Easter eggs, but you don't want to be a foregone conclusion. You want to have surprises in it. You want it to be different in some way. And that was like a really fun way of making it the same but different. I love that stuff. We want the show to be unique and its own thing, and at the same time we want to reference the panels from the comics that made the character iconic in the first place.
Honoring the story but doing your own thing.
Right.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you so much for your question.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. We'll go back over to this side.
Hi, Hi, so my question is for Charlie. I was wondering, in Daredevil you see a lot of fidgeting. With Matt, he's very jumpy. Is that, those hand motions, is that something that was written in, or is that just kind of your own fidgeting?
No, it's a really good observation. It's a really good question. It's not written. It's not written in that way, at least. I guess in periods of his life when he's struggling mentally, emotionally with his role as both Daredevil and Matt Murdock, and he's feeling that duality, and he's feeling the pull, the way that often presents itself, and particularly in the middle of season 2, was where it was really relevant. The way that expresses itself is it makes him kind of fidgety because he can't sit still in his own body, and he's juggling all these balls, and it's just overwhelming. And it's probably what I do in my own life when I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Me too.
Oh, lovely. Thank you so much for your question.
Thank you.
We'll go over to this side. Hi.
Hi, this question is for Vincent, and my sister actually wanted to be up here, so she wanted me to ask her a question, but first, I have to tell you that I'm an independent writer, and I have bad aliens in my book that are insects, and when people ask me, where'd you get the inspiration for your insect aliens, bad as they are, I have 2 words for egg or soup.
Cool.
That's very sweet. That's very sweet.
Loved you in Men in Black, and it was just such a convincing villain that you didn't want to root for, but you wanted to see him get off the planet, maybe. And my sister's question is, did you give Chris Hemsworth any pointers as how to be Thor, since you were Thor in Adventures of Babysitter?
That's very sweet. No, I think Chris did all right.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
just say one more thing to Charlie. My wife and I were stuck in the house all weekend watching trees, and it was just an absolute gift. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you so much. We'll go to this side.
Hi, my name is Maddox, and I have a question for Charlie. So it's pretty well established that Matt and Fisk are basically 2 sides of the same coin within the fandom, and it's accepted within the fandom that Fisk is autistic. Because of this, some people think that Matt is as well. And I was wondering if you'd heard that theory and what you think about it. I was just asking because I'm autistic, and a lot of his experiences, minus the vigilantism, but a lot of that stuff is relatable to me and my other autistic friends, so I was wondering if you'd heard that theory and what you thought about it.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Yeah, it's a really tricky. This is a difficult one to answer. Yes, I'm aware of the theory, and I'm a little bit. I really appreciate your question and your observation. I'm a little bit reluctant to talk about it in detail for personal reasons, but I'll say you're not wrong, and.
You can finish with that.
I'll finish with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question.
Great question.
We'll go over here. Hi.
Hi, my name is Ben. I have 2 questions. One is, if the MCU was reset and you both had the choice to be any character in the MCU, who would you be?
Wilson Fisk.
Wilson Fisk.
then my second question is for Peter Melnick of The Marvelous. He wants to know, have you ever been in a submarine?
Submarine?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Your answer was yes?
My answer is yes, I've been in a submarine.
Great.
Is that for you, Charlie Cox, as well? Have you been in a submarine?
I don't know what it is either.
Oh, submarine.
Oh, I thought you were
saying submarine.
So did I. And I was like, a summary of what? Like World War
Summary
II?
day on the beach. A summary day in the garden.
I didn't know where we were going with this.
A submarine. Yes. I have never been in a submarine.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to remind our fans in this line that you get one question. I'm cracking down.
One question that has one part.
Yeah, exactly. There's none of this. I'm going to tell you 6 stories in a question. I'm going to shut it down. All right, go to this side, please.
First of all, thanks for being here. You guys are awesome. Loved you guys in Daredevil. You're amazing. This was something I watched during COVID just to pass the time. My sister, who is a lot more funny than I am, saw the first episode, thought it was great, and was like, you know what's funny? If you look at the title of the show, it kind of looks like Daredevil. That was just funny. My question is, my name's Colin, by the way. My question is, so you're back in the MCU. Kingpin showed up in Hawkeye, and Daredevil was in Spider-Man and She-Hulk. I just want to know that when you were in those, did you approach your characters differently than when you played them in the Netflix series? And if you did, how so?
Do you want me to start?
We can't answer those questions, dude. We just can't. Like, I would love to just go off on everything that we're doing right now. Like, that would be so much fucking fun. And you guys, trust me, you guys would be laughing and screaming, and I'd be having a great time. Charlie would be sitting there with a smile on his face. Like, it would be incredible if I could answer that question, but I can't.
But thank you for asking it.
I can say one thing about it, which is that because I knew I was going to be in like one episode of She-Hulk. And because I knew I'd read the scripts, and so I knew that tonally it was very different from what we'd done, I was aware that it was an opportunity to find a version of my Matt Murdock that was a little bit more lighthearted, there was more levity involved, kind of tongue-in-cheek, and maybe someone who is enjoying a period of their life where they're not weighed down by the heaviness of the world that was present in our show. So it was like an experiment to see how well that would work. And it was really fun, and working with Tatiana was incredible. She's unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, reminder, one question. Thank you so much. Spider-Man, take it away.
Hi, my name is Steve. I'm a huge big fan of both you guys, and I have a
I'm
question.
gonna get you one day, Spider-Man.
We will see. We will see if that happens.
There may be a sea of people between us right now, but I'm gonna get you, motherfucker.
I'll give it a look at. Anyway, my question is for both of you. What was it like to be two iconic comic book characters?
Pop-up characters?
Yeah. Like, what was it like to be like two of the best Marvel characters?
Popular
Popular.
character.
Yeah. Iconic.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, I remember getting the first opportunity, the Netflix show, and both Charlie and I had comics when we were young. We had different comics. I had the better ones, he had the more lame ones. But we had comics. And so it was like, oh my God, this is great. And I've done a lot of genres and a lot of drama and a lot of this and that and whatever. And I just thought it was thrilling. And then, when we got the call from Kevin to do the news show, I was like ecstatic. Are you kidding me? Like, who in this room wouldn't be like, hell yeah, you know, like that's how I felt.
It's awesome.
And it's also like, you could, like, let's say as an actor you get an amazing role to play just a regular person, you know, and it's an amazing film, and you get like, you get nominated for an Oscar, let's say, it's a huge hit, and then you show up at one of these things, there still wouldn't be anything like this amount of people for you to be, you know, to meet, because these characters, like, they mean so much to so many people. It's mind-blowing. It's bonkers. I find it bonkers sitting here on this couch with Vincent, with all you guys sitting here listening to what we have to say about it. That will never ever feel normal, you know, and it just fills me with unbelievable gratitude that we have this opportunity to play these characters, and also I feel so lucky that you guys liked it, because you know what I mean. It'd be really bad if that wasn't the case.
Thank you.
So it's like one of the great honors of my life was to play this character, and the fact that we're still doing it and we get to create more content is just unbelievable blessing.
Thank you for your questions.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We'll go to this side. Ooh.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm really nervous right now.
You're fine. You look great.
Thank you. I'm Caroline, and I have a question for Charlie. So you probably get asked this a lot. I don't even know, but how is it like working with Tom Holland behind the scenes of No Way Home?
Yeah, do you know what? I don't think I have been asked that.
You did it.
Yeah,
you asked the first time.
It was really, really delightful, and he was so generous and kind, and you know, made me feel very welcome. You know, he was in the middle of a long shoot, and I'm sure he was exhausted, and I know what that's like. And I was in a scene with him for one day, so it was a huge honor, and we had a great time together, and you know, it would be great to share the screen with him again at some point. I will also say it was really exciting to be with Jon Favreau.
Oh my gosh.
Because I'm a huge fan of his. And also I'm aware that he is the original Foggy. You know? And so it was a very cool Easter egg to be sat opposite him.
Yeah.
And we talked about that, and we talked about the character, and you know, he's awesome, and they all are. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for your question.
I see how long these lines of questions are, but I also see what time it is, and reality is time. So we have time for about 1 to 3 more questions, depending on if you follow the rule of one question. So we'll start over here.
Gentlemen, I want to say thank you so much for the work you've given us over the years. From one huge theater nerd to another, I must ask, what was that thing that got you into acting that made you realize this was right for you? This is for both of you gentlemen.
What is it that got me into theater? So when I was a kid, my dad was an interior designer by trade, but in every community that we lived in, he would get involved with a local small company and help build sets, and he would direct plays and stuff like that. And so I grew up being a techie, like I used to help build sets and run sound and lights and stuff like that, but I never really considered myself an actor. And then one day they were doing some kind of melodrama, like something called like Dirty Work at the Crossroads or something like that. And they needed filler for the beginning. And so I went out on stage and did some magic, believe it or not. And
like close-up magic?
Like close-up magic and all kinds of things, yeah. And I had no nerves, no butterflies whatsoever. And I just kind of did it, and you know, the audience liked it. And I just left stage, and I'm like, okay, that was interesting. I could do that every night, you know. And then I thought, and then that sort of like gave me the bug. And then when I graduated high school, me and my friend Elio Medina, we crossed the country together. right out of high school, just went from Florida to San Francisco and saw a bit of the country. And then he went, and as soon as we got there, unbeknownst to me, he went into a naval recruiting office and disappeared out of my life after that. And my sister, I talked to my sister on the phone. I found a cousin in San Diego, stayed with them for a while, talked to my sister on the phone. And my sister said, I'm going to New York. But we have family in New York because I was born there. Yes. To study acting. And I said, I'll go with you. And then I ended up in New York studying acting. And I started doing plays, and I did a ton of plays, and I did end up on Broadway. And then I got Full Metal Jacket.
Yes. What a lovely origin story. Like, honestly, yeah. How did you figure out, Charlie, that this was what you were going to do?
I don't know that I figured out it was what I was going to do. I did a play when I was at school. The first play that I did, I was like, I guess like 9 or 10. And the character I played had these funny lines. And, you know, we rehearsed it, and it was fun. I kind of enjoyed like the community of it. But then on the first night with a live audience, and I said my first line, and everyone laughed, and it was like a drug.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, this feels amazing. Just feeling like you can say something, and you can, you know, when you're in a group of 3 people and you say something really funny and they laugh, it feels really good. Imagine when there's 900 of them. You know, it's like that's when I knew I couldn't not do it.
Yes, absolutely. No, I 100% agree with you. Thank you for your amazing question. Thank you. We have time for one more question. Over you.
Hi, my name is Dakota.
Hi, Dakota.
And my question is for Charlie, and it was, in what ways would you say that playing the role of Daredevil has changed you?
He's turned into a real prick, I have to say. Like, I met this like really sweet British fellow, and now he's like American. It's weird. Of course.
That's such a great question. It's such a massive question, and it's going to be very difficult for me to answer it and really do it justice. But here's what I was thinking when you were asking the question. One of the things I find unbelievably moving is how coming to events like this, how it brings families together. And when I started doing Daredevil, I had no family of my own, and now I have a wife and 2 children. And when I'm standing at the table and I'm signing autographs and meeting people, I find it really moving to see these families with children of all ages, like from late 20s to 7, 6-year-olds. And the parents are dressed up as well, you know, and it's a common bond that a family has had. They've watched this show together, they've loved it, it's been something that they've bonded over, and now they're coming here to celebrate that. And I find that to be really cool, really moving. And my children are a little young at the moment, but I definitely will bring them to these events. And I would never have done that without Daredevil. I wouldn't have known about it. But when they're a bit older, I will dress up with them, and they will get dressed up, and we will come, and we will experience this community. And it's just such it's just a weekend with thousands of people here to have a good time and to celebrate the things they love, and it's just a really positive energy. I find it really awesome. So I don't know if that helps.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.